my darling. Sorry, it was Madam Tilly. And these are my boobs. And these are my friends. Ribbity Star.
Hello.
And
Hello.
And Sid of the Red Choker.
Let
And here we have Iron Slug here. And we're back with some more reaction recordings. Hopefully I'll start uploading these regular now, next to, I guess, what's it called? Scheduled uploads. Yeah. And also, I'd spend like the last week researching algorithms, and because there's certain stuff you gotta click on YouTube, so otherwise people don't see your videos and stuff like that.
no.
It's dumb.
Certain words that'll get your video like algorithm kind of blocked.
Yeah.
Like
Shadow banned.
So like fun story. Like apparently YouTube hates busts. Like how can you hate busts? They're like nicely carved statues. So there's this one clip of me doing like an Ace Attorney case and such. So I'm like, and it involved murder weapon being a bust. So I'm like, hey,
yeah.
look at this nice bust. Like big and heavy, Totally wasn't zoomed in on my busts. Like, I don't know why YouTube was being such a wet ass about that.
All right, and today's for this particular video, we're watching 7 games that killed their own. They were so bad they killed their own studios. So also code word for today is cupcakes. Comment down below and I'll give you a heart. All right, let's get on into it.
Not every game is destined for greatness. Some rise to legendary status while others crash.
Right. I should share that in the Discord. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a sec.
Blind activated. Let's see here.
Yeah, I got you on the stream. There you go.
Okay. Good. I'll back up 5 seconds. All right. See, dude on the horse.
Oh, that loaded quickly.
Alrighty.
Good old Henry.
Not every game is destined for greatness. Some rise to legendary status while others crash and burn, taking entire studios down with them.
Concord.
Poor Concord.
With my freaking mind!
Today, we're diving into the biggest gaming failures that didn't just flop, they killed their own studios. From the downfall of Volition to the tragic missteps of Arcane Austin, these are the games that sealed the fate of their studios. So, let's get started. Let's start with a game from Volition that once stood for chaotic, over-the-top fun. Saints Row.
I like it too. I only played a few hours, but I do love it.
Back to a bold design exercise of Volition.
Like I'm a big Saints Row fan, and
one of those
I thought it was great.
Combined a first-person shooter with a gang simulator. A pitch featuring NWA's F the Police caught THQ's attention, leading to the game's development. Initially titled Bling Bling, the project did face some significant challenges.
People were very nervous about what we were doing there. I think some of them were probably worried,
the music
window or something like that.
It was an interesting struggle. There were people who were not happy with what we were making there. I mean, on the team. Didn't want to wait. Didn't want to make that game. Did not want to even be associated with that game.
However, the game renamed...
Speaking of gang simulators, y'all remember... If y'all familiar with Mega Man at all?
Familiar, yes. Mega Man. I've not played any of the games.
So do you know...
But I'm familiar with it.
So you know that one spin-off for called Legends, where he's got those little Lego people that fight against...
Oh, yeah.
So... There's this game, a spin-off game for that called Misadventures of Tronvon, where you get to play as the villains.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
Where she commands the army of those little cute Lego robot people. And at that first release, it was kind of like shadow banned in America. Because, like, okay, we can't have cutesy little guys doing evil shit. Like, you're breaking into homes and blowing them up and stealing all everyone's stuff and shooting civilians. And then, a couple years later, GTA 3 comes out, and now it's okay to be bad. So, yeah, it was ahead of its time.
Saints Row launched in 2006, delivering an open-world experience with innovative mechanics. He became a commercial success, paving the way for Saints Row 2, which cemented the franchise's iconic identity with its edgy humor
Saints Row 2 is
gameplay.
fucking fantastic.
However, the 2002 reboot failed to capture the former magic of the series, plagued by technical issues, outdated mechanics, and uninspired writing, and honestly delivered an experience that felt nothing like the previous franchise. The reboot setting Santo Ileso felt lifeless compared to the earlier games.
Yeah,
and while the developers tried to balance drama and comedy,
I feel like a prequel.
Yeah, I would say Saints Row 2022 to me, it felt like a pretty good midpoint between Saints Row 2 and Saints Row 3.
Yeah.
But, you know, more modern. It brought back so much that I had missed from Saints Row 2 that wasn't in 3 or 4. And I was very happy with the game. I got it on launch, and I played the whole thing all the way through. And it felt so weird to be, like, a fan of this game when the overwhelming public opinion was that it was terrible and, like, creatively bankrupt, was what Moist Critical said about it.
What does he know?
And... yeah, it's like it did so badly the company went under, and not even Agents of Mayhem managed that, and that was genuinely a terrible game.
I kind of liked, at least I like what Agents of Mayhem was going for. Just bad execution.
Agents of Mayhem starts off good.
I think it tried too much.
That's how I feel. Yeah, how I feel about Agents of Mayhem is it's got a really strong start, and then it kind of lost everything from then on.
Yeah, I can talk about it.
It didn't really know what to do with itself.
Yeah, definitely. And so it's like Saints Row. I feel like a decent, like could be like a prequel. Like this before they became really hardened badasses. Yeah, I enjoyed the games a lot.
The game's tone just ultimately didn't land.
Oh, now I remember. Yeah, because I were in the dev team. They were very divided. Like, 'cause, like half of them wanted to do a new direction, the other half wanted to harken back to the old team. You know, with that and stuff.
Saints Row's razor-sharp humor and crazy design choices were diluted, and the attempt to sanitize the game for a broader audience really just alienated the core fans who came to expect the chaos and edginess of those earlier titles. Bugs and performance problems plagued Saints Row's launch, with some describing the experience as barely playable.
Yeah, I didn't have that experience, and I didn't even have a particularly powerful
Beyond these
PC,
issues, the gameplay
but it was fine for me.
just outdated and clunky.
I guess I just got lucky.
I had a couple bugs, but they're more in my favor. Like the enemies would get frozen in midair, and like, okay, easy shot, pew pew. You know, hey, I ain't got no hardcore gamer pride. Or I would literally just tap the curb, and all the characters would be teleported onto the sidewalk. Like, okay, I was going to get out of the car anyway.
Jeepers.
So
I didn't have anything like that. The only issues I had was I got my friend Catastrophe to get the game as well, so we could play through it together.
Yeah.
And maybe like do the co-op campaign, and we couldn't get the co-op working at all. And that's the only stumbling block I personally had with the game. I guess I just got really lucky.
Though the game performed adequately in terms of pre-order sales, the steep drop-off in the weeks following the release spelled a quick end to the beloved Saints Row franchise. The failure of the Saints Row reboot proved to be the final nail in the coffin for Volition. After years of declining success, the Embracer Group transferred the studio to Gearbox Entertainment. Despite efforts to leverage Gearbox's resources, Volition was unable to recover, and the studio
Embracer and Gearbox.
On August
Those
31st,
are two
2023.
names you never want to
Next
hear.
up is Forspoken and Luminous Productions. Forspoken was meant to be a bold statement, a game that showcased cutting-edge technology and narrative-driven gameplay.
Another game I liked.
By the ambitious Luminous Productions, a studio born from the team
think it would be better
behind
if it was
Final
more
Fantasy
of a
15.
linear game.
Instead, it became a cautionary tale about overpromising and underdelivering. Forspoken aimed to dazzle with fluid traversal, magical combat, and a fantastical story centered on Frey Holland, a young New Yorker thrust into the magical world of Athia. However, the game's core strengths were overshadowed by significant weaknesses. Forspoken had a great parkour system which made exploring the open world exhilarating. However, the world was empty and lifeless, meaning there was little to really truly explore, and combat was unfortunately repetitive and underwhelming, failing to offer the depth or excitement that many expected. And the story never really evolved into anything engaging, and the game's dialogue was often criticized for being awkward and poorly written.
I just moved shit with my mind.
Would you have that same reaction though?
I
like,
just
yeah, I'm a
moved
BA.
shit with
Yeah. Also,
the game showcased
this was like
lighting
one of the
effects and
only
large-scale
examples
environments, but
of
these
that
technical
in the
achievements
game.
couldn't mask the game's shortcomings. Even in its home market of Japan,
like the Titus
sales were
laugh.
underwhelming. In
People
less than a
blowing up.
month
Yeah.
after release,
Yeah.
Square Enix's
Yeah.
president described the game's reception as, quote, challenging, which is corporate speak for
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
despite its promises.
Yeah.
I will
Forspoken was
say
met
one
with
thing
lukewarm
against this
reviews
game,
and
though.
lackluster
What?
sales, marking a swift and disappointing end for
I
Luminous
hated
Productions, which was absorbed back into Square Enix
that they
just a few
specifically
months later.
called the
Fable
bangle a
Legends, developed
cuff.
by Lionhead Studios, was supposed to be a
Like, can we
crown
pause for a
jewel
second?
Xbox, a bold reinvention.
So they call the bangle thing a cuff, right? And that makes sense from like a storytelling perspective because, you know, she was a prisoner, so it's meant to like harken back to handcuffs. That makes sense. But it doesn't look anything like a handcuff. It looks like a bangle, and you'd expect a woman like Frey to know what a bangle is. So that really is like the only thing that actually irritated me about the script when I was playing through this game.
Let's see. And
That's
yeah,
it. That's my piece.
I like the character now. She's kind of didn't take no shit. You know, she's it's like she'd be like,
Yeah.
why'd you waste my fucking time? You know, yeah. Like some people like God, you know, point out like, hey, that's an asshole behavior. Like, you know, and no, it's like kind of the nonsense. You know.
Yeah, I actually need to replay this now that I've got a more powerful PC.
Same.
For some reason, on the PC I was playing it on at the time, the lighting was a bit bugged.
Yeah.
So everything was either, it's like the contrast was way too high. Everything was either completely sun-bleached and washed out, or so pitch black you couldn't see anything. And there was like no in between. But I still got through the entire game.
Productions, which was absorbed back into Square Enix just a few months later. Fable Legends, developed by Lionhead Studios, was supposed to be a crown jewel for Xbox.
Really?
A bold reinvention of the Fable series with free-to-play mechanics and cross-platform play between Xbox
Fable
and
4 or
PC.
something?
However, unlike the other games on this list, Fable Legends was never released. But what went wrong? Lionhead
no one had heard
Studios
about
was
it.
founded back in the late 1990s and became a renowned British game developer. They were most known from their massive success with Fable, a beloved RPG franchise. Despite their success, they still struggled financially, so in 2006, Lionhead was acquired by Microsoft. The Fable franchise continued to be successful, leading to numerous games with the Fable brand and eventually Fable Legends. Fable Legends was ambitious, featuring cooperative action gameplay where 4 heroes battled against a villain controlled by AI or another player. Set in a magical folklore-inspired era before the original trilogy, Fable Legends promised vibrant storytelling, fluid combat, and a hub city bustling with activities. However, after 4 years of development and a huge $75 million budget, Microsoft abruptly canceled the game in March 2016,
That's enough compared to
sealing the
today's
fate
numbers.
of Lionhead Studios, which closed a month later. At the heart of the failure was a disconnect between Lionhead's creative DNA and Microsoft's changing priorities. Known for quirky, single-player adventures, Lionhead was pushed into creating a live-service, multiplayer-focused game, a significant departure from what made the studio beloved. The free-to-play model combined with the demand for an always online experience alienated many of the players that just wanted an engaging single-player experience. After the departure of founder Peter Molyneux in 2012, the studio lost its creative leader and resistance to Microsoft's corporate demands. Forced to pivot toward a games-as-a-service, Lionhead abandoned earlier plans for a more traditional Fable 4. Developers struggled with the new direction, leading to missed milestones and a lack of cohesion. The cancellation of Fable Legends left many employees blindsided, with some holding on to hope that the game's assets might be repurposed for a proper Fable sequel. Unfortunately, that hope was dashed as Microsoft shut down the studio in 2016, marking the end of an era for British game development and leaving a massive question
Rest in
of
power.
what could have been.
I am sick of live service games, destroying everything we love, studios we love, IPs we want done
that's what I
justice.
hear.
This needs to stop.
Angry
Arcane
Joe
Austin
is
had all the
mad.
makings of a great studio.
But yeah,
They had a
I
talented team
think
and
we
a
were
solid
quite silent
financial
through that
backing.
one.
In 2017, they released Prey.
And on my part, it was mostly because I was just genuinely very interested in hearing the details because I didn't know much about the cancellation. It's so sad. I love the Fable games. Fable 2 is my favorite, mostly because that was the first one I played.
That's the best one.
I want Fable 2 on PC. And I know it can be emulated, but I've not had a lot of luck with that generation of consoles emulating them. And God, I love Fable 2.
Yeah, it's still got my physical copy.
Yeah, I've got two, actually. I've got one that's got the DLC included and one that doesn't.
The only problem I have with one is that you got old way too fast. Yeah, it's like just put a helmet on because you're gonna look like a grandpa in like an hour. Yeah, the aging system was a little much.
I mean, you age with the plot in Fable 2. It's just a very short game.
Yeah, unless you like, because I did get old, but I was like playing for a long time. It was more generous.
Yeah.
But the first game, you gotta like beat that. You gotta speed run it, otherwise you're just gonna look old as fuck. And so if you just put a helmet on, and it'll work.
Yeah, the first game you end up with like a really big beard.
Oh man, but yeah, I love.
I would be more into the first game if there was an option to play as a girl, but you know they were very much they were pushed for time. That game was so much more ambitious than they ended up managing to make it.
Yeah, some of the other mechanics are just a little weird too. You know, it's like the more ranged combat you use, the more taller your character gets. Like, how does me using a gun make me 7 feet tall? But okay,
and that's the same in all of them though.
Yeah.
I remember I played Fable 2 so much that I would start to like I would like limit the way that I played to try and like sculpt my character to look differently and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fun. It's such a shame that they're gone.
Sen, have you played Fable?
I did a little bit of Fable 1 through like a combination of Game Pass and Xbox backwards compat, you know? So I didn't get too far.
Yeah. All three of them are very like different time periods, essentially. And so you've got like different technology and stuff. Fable 2 introduces guns, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, whereas in Fable 1 you've just got like bows for your ranged.
That's interesting.
Like Fable 2 is like a bit more like early Victorian, and then Fable 3 is like slap bang in the middle of the Industrial Revolution. So it's like the late Victorian. Because it's like it's one generation after. In Fable 3 you play as the child of the character from Fable 2 canonically.
Interesting.
They're all good games. Fable 3 suffers from a lot of sort of bloat because it has a lot of like procedurally generated side quests.
Yeah.
Wasn't there an app that was required for one of the achievements in 3 that's no longer available?
Probably. Loved using the Dragon Pistol in Fable 2. Hell yeah. But yeah, apps were very popular around like app integration in games was very popular around the time. I know that GTA 5 had a companion app for the dog. And when they discontinued the app, they just made it so that the dog is permanently sad.
That honestly sounds like a Rockstar thing to do, to be honest.
Yeah. Like you cannot train the dog or like improve its mental state at all. It's just permanently depressed nowadays.
Bruh.
They even re-released the game, and the new version, he's still just sad. Yeah, there's like an enhanced edition, and even in the enhanced edition, the dog is still just sad and depressed, and there's nothing you can do about it.
You want to hear funny?
Yeah.
No, I was going slightly off topic.
Yeah, the app for that game, you could make custom license plates. That's another thing you could do with it. Sorry, you were saying, Tilly?
No, I'll say I got a funny video game dog story. It's slightly off topic though.
Yeah.
Anyone familiar with Skyrim?
Oh yeah.
So I remember coming across this doggo you can kind of adopt in Skyrim, and they're like, yeah, you got doggo companion. But now suddenly I get after a few battles, like, okay, I'm worried about the doggo companion. It's like, okay, how can I keep this doggo safe? And then I looked up, like, okay, so you gotta get a house and a family, and you can leave the dog with them. So okay, so now I'm looking around for it. First I gotta get married, and then I find a house. Like, dragons are everywhere. I'm worried about real estate. So then okay, it's like oh wait, now I have to go adopt a kid first, and then I get the dog. Leave the dog with them. So I find this girl, and I adopt her, and so so she decides to get a rat as a pet. I'm like, what the fuck? So I gotta go find another kid to adopt. And so if get a son this time.
Kill the rat.
He takes the dog out. Now, my wife, because not all wives are the same. Some have different characteristics, and one of them had a particular a bard friend, and he decides to move in with us. My wife's quote friend.
It's your wife's boyfriend.
Yeah, and so and like, okay,
maybe he'll get you a PS5.
Kind of weird. No ads.
Oh, no ads.
But
it's a good thing we're just yapping.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so and this guy, he would walk around, and I noticed he would be like, stupid mutt. He just like yell and like at the dog and stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm not okay with that. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to scare the guy into leaving the house. To go away, to move out. So my plan was to wait for him to come outside, and there was like a little like river near our property. So I was gonna do the roast for dog dragon shout and launch him into the water and scurry away. So I misaimed a little bit, and he ends up colliding with a boulder.
Uh-oh.
And then the wife just happened to walk outside and see this. And then so she starts attacking me. And not wanting to hurt her, I just run away. I'm like, you know what? My marriage is destroyed. I can never return to my house, but my dog is safe. And the end.
Worth it.
Back to the video game. Let's go. It's just... Okay, let's see here. Now, as far as Redfall is concerned, anyone played Redfall?
Nope, never heard of it.
No, I really wanted to, and it's been on my wish list ever since it like was announced. And I've every time it goes on sale, I'm like, people hate this game. Maybe I'll give it a skip.
I bought full price on Epic. But
I mean,
I love the aesthetic.
I hope for the sake of the people themselves that people enjoy it. Yeah. But it is very badly reviewed, and it's such a shame because I'm such a fan of the developers.
Right.
But also, I didn't really like Deathloop. So I guess I was already kind of in the headspace of, damn, they're going downhill by the time Redfall came out.
I see.
I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Love the characters.
Because I love vampire shit.
Yeah. Okay. And Ad Hell is over for a chat, so let's get back into this one.
FPS sim that had a solid reception. Up next was Redfall, a co-op vampire FPS that seemed really exciting when announced. However, by Redfall's release, approximately 70% of the Austin team who had worked on Prey would be gone, and Redfall would be a metaphorical stake through the heart of Arcane Austin. Redfall ultimately failed to deliver, suffering from bland mission design, an empty world, and technical issues that made the game feel incomplete. Redfall's core gameplay loop quickly became repetitive, with unengaging objectives and brain-dead enemy AI, making each encounter feel like a chore rather than a challenge. Even the elements that seemed promising, such as the vampire nest and character abilities, lacked depth and variety. And the story was largely forgettable, relying on static images rather than engaging cutscenes or interactive storytelling. At its worst, Redfall felt like a game that had been rushed out the door, devoid of the polish and creative feeling.
Yeah, like a lot of people were not crazy about character designs, like too woke. They were saying like the person on the far right there, that's actually a girl.
Oh,
neat.
Interesting.
Relying on static images
Is the girl on the left heavily pregnant?
Or interactive storytelling. At its worst, Redfall felt like a game that had been rushed out the door, devoid of the polish and creative spark that had once defined Arcane's best work. But it was the game's technical problems that cemented its reputation as a failure. From broken animations and persistent bugs to poor performance even on high-end hardware, Redfall launched in a state that made it nearly unplayable for most. Some enemies would come invincible, teammates would turn into floating weapons, and the final boss fight was so underwhelming that it basically summed up the game's creativity in a single fight. While Arcane Austin had originally planned to release additional content, those plans were scrapped when the game's disastrous reputation led Microsoft to shut down the studio. The cancellation of Redfall's DLC and the issuing of refunds underscored just how badly the game had failed both critically.
That's true, Yoko.
If you're enjoying the video and want to see more content like this in the future, then consider subscribing to the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. Now, let's get back into it. The story of Dead Rising 4 and the closure of Capcom Vancouver is one of ambition, reinvention, and ultimately a series that lost its identity. The Dead Rising series is a beloved action survival franchise known for its over-the-top zombie mayhem, creative weapon crafting, and sandbox-style gameplay. It debuted in 2006 with Dead Rising, where photojournalist Frank West is trapped in a zombie-infested mall with a limited time window to uncover the outbreak's truth. The series evolved with new protagonists like Chuck Green and Nick Ramos. The gameplay was innovative and fun with time-restricted
people did not like Dead Rising 3 when it came out.
Its creative combat that allowed players
public
to use
opinion has shifted on that over time.
The mix of dark humor, B-movie charm, and multiple endings made each playthrough exciting. It was truly a unique experience. Dead Rising 4 released in December 2016 and marked the return of iconic Frank West. It revisited the fictional town of Willamette, Colorado in a winter holiday setting. And while the game retained the series' hallmark open-world design and encouraged players to explore and battle massive hordes of zombies, it abandoned core elements that fans love, like the timer system and story co-op. Despite some praise for its gameplay,
I don't mind getting rid of timer, because that's like one of the problems with Dead Rise. It's like I want to fucking explore, but I'm gonna have a heart attack if I don't get the objective in time. I want to love Dead Rise more I do. The timer's hurt my OCD. Yeah, it's like you gotta understand. Basically, it's understanding you can't do everything. That's what multiple playthroughs are for.
It's part of the charm as well. Like it's designed so that you can get through it the first time, but like it's not that big a deal if you fail, because the next time you go in, you'll have more knowledge about the layout and stuff, and you'll be able to get through it faster the next time. And also, that most of them having multiple endings as well, adds to that.
Also, there's also multiple ways to just get shit done too, because
I want to do everything. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
that's why I can't play any Spyro game except for the first one. Because the first Spyro game, you can 100% each level when you get to it, because there's no unlockable abilities. You have all of your abilities at the start.
Happy Ace game is so St. Michael.
And any of the others, I'm like, oh my god, no, I can't. I need to 100%, but it won't let me.
But in Dead Rising, there's actually if you fail, there's at something, there's no way to make up for it, because there's this one boss fight, for example, where you fight this cultist guy, and he's got multiple hostages that you could save and bring back to your safe room. But those people, you have a chance to save them, because they're actually earlier in the mall. You can save them, because I went play from where's the cultist guy? Because turns out I saved all the hostages they already had previously. So they're it's not meant to be.
So he just didn't turn up.
Yeah, so it's not meant to be everything done in one playthrough. So it's alternate timelines in a way. I remember Dead Rising kind of helped me get over my zombie phobia, because I still had it when I picked up that game. So just that first cutscene of flying over the crowds of zombies, I'm like,
neat.
Yeah. And
hey, Sword St. Michael, happy Thanksgiving.
Oh yes. Go ahead.
That's what I love about the Spyro games, no backtracking. No, that's what I'm saying. Spyro 1 has no backtracking. Spyro 2 and 3 do. Spyro 2 and 3 add backtracking.
But I will say, Dead Rising 3, the time limit is very generous. So you don't gotta worry about that.
Dead Rising 3, I didn't feel under much pressure at all. With regards to finishing everything.
You gotta be very freaking slow, if you're gonna fail that game.
Yeah, Spyro 2 has backtracking. You can't 100% each level as you go through it. You need to come back later with like abilities that you unlock later in the game.
Mike, did you win it?
I
Punch
think
Out?
there's like a specific jump or glide that need to be extended by something. I think is what I heard.
Yeah, there were ways to glitch your way into getting like a higher jump and glide through like proxy jumping by getting trapped under objects and shit. So like it was technically possible for some of the areas, but not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see here. But yes, I remember. I'll let him explain it. Let's see if he'll cover with what happened to Dead Rising 4.
I felt that Dead Rising 4 lacked the depth, charm, and tension that had made the earlier entries so great. But the development of Dead Rising 4 was full of challenges. Originally conceived as a darker reboot inspired by The Last of Us, the project was scrapped mid-development by Capcom Japan, leading to a reboot that shifted the focus back to Frank West and a more comedic tone. However, the game struggled to resonate. It featured an uninspired story, bland replacements for the iconic psychopath bosses, and a lack of innovation.
Yeah, no
the decision to
psychopaths.
remove the timer system further alienated longtime fans. And by April 2017, Dead Rising 4 had sold less than 1 million units, far below Capcom's projection of 2 million, cementing its status as a commercial disappointment. The failure of Dead Rising 4 was the final blow for Capcom Vancouver, the studio behind the Dead Rising series since Dead Rising 2. Originally known as Blue Castle Games, the studio had enjoyed success with its early entries into the franchise. However, the studio faced increasing pressure to appeal to broader audiences, which led to creative compromises and a delusion of the series' identity, which basically boils down to more suits, putting pressure on developers to make a more profitable game, but with less of the things that gamers and players actually love. In 2018, after laying off 30% of its staff and canceling the development of a planned Dead Rising 5, Capcom shuttered the studio entirely. The closure marked the end of Capcom's North American development ambitions, with ongoing projects moved back to Japan. The story of Hayes and the down...
Okay, so yeah, what happened was they kind of got stuck with, oh, you made a good Dead Rising game. For now, your studio shall forever only make Dead Rising games. And
it's on one hand, that's makes sense. Do what you're good at, but then again, they're probably locked into that creative corner.
Yeah, the creative burnout is gonna hit pretty fucking hard.
I forget the studio that made Shantae, but like, the way they would just, do what they're told, and then with the bonus money they make, then they make their original IPs. That's what they should have done. Been a little more patient. But, so they decided to make this gritty reboot, and they went to bring the presentation to Capcom Japan, and it was met with just just shocked, jaw drop crickets, because they were expecting over the top zany fun, shit. And so they hate it, and they should have said they're going a different direction, but they were kind of keeping it hush, and so they just didn't have time to change it back to the way they wanted it.
And you could already kind of feel that they wanted to make that shift when it came to Dead Rising 3, because Dead Rising 3's villains are like weird and zany, but pretty much everything else about the presentation of Dead Rising 3 was trying to be more grounded and gritty and realistic.
Those vehicles are over the top. The vehicles are a little over the top, though.
Yeah, but in terms of like art direction and character design and stuff, except for the villains. It was very much trying. You can see that they probably were trying to push things in that direction as early as 3. I feel sorry for them.
Yeah. So Hayes, only seen it, but I'm not a big shooter person.
I never played this, but I've seen the cover art. Many times throughout my life. I remember I got this game mixed up with another one from around the same time.
Commercial realities. Released in May 2008 as a PlayStation 3 exclusive, Hayes was seen as the potential Halo killer, promising a gripping narrative and innovative gameplay. Set in a dystopian future dominated by the Mantel Corporation, the game explored themes of corporate control, addiction, and the horrors of war through the lens of its protagonist, Shane Carpenter. first as a Mantell soldier enhanced by the drug nectar, and later as a rebel fighting against the very system they once served. The concept was really interesting in theory, but the execution fell disastrously short. Haze was plagued by a series of missteps. Initially planned as a multi-platform release, the game became a PlayStation 3 exclusive, a decision driven by Ubisoft that restricted the game's audience. Development delays only added to this pressure. While Free Radical's graphics engine showcased great technical features, it couldn't mask the game's flaws, which included weak gameplay mechanics, poor AI, and a lackluster 7-hour campaign. What was supposed to be a groundbreaking narrative with an anti-war message became a hollow experience riddled with bugs and uninspired design.
Depending on the game, 7 hours is fine.
Disappointment. And by 2014, it had secured a place on list of the most disappointing games of its generation.
But yeah, if it had like,
had profound repercussions for Free Radical design.
Bad AI
known
and
for their
stuff,
critically acclaimed Time Splitter series, the studio had built a reputation for fast-paced gameplay and innovative multiplayer modes. However, the commercial and critical disaster of Haze, combined with the abrupt cancellation of Star Wars Battlefront 3, a nearly completed project, pushed the studio into financial turmoil. By December 2008, Free Radical declared bankruptcy, laying off the majority of its staff. Thankfully, however, there was a small glimmer of hope, with the studio's legacy being salvaged in part by Crytek, which acquired the company in early 2009 and rebranded it as Crytek UK. Finally, let's discuss Concord and Firewalk Studios.
I feel so bad for Firewalk.
Please, no!
Yeah, I know nothing about Concord except people were angry about character designs.
But it ultimately became...
It's here. Yeah, I'll explain before I tell my knowledge.
One of the biggest failures in gaming history. Despite an 8-year development cycle and a reported budget of hundreds of millions of dollars, the game failed to stand out in a crowded market dominated by free-to-play giants like Overwatch and Valorant. Its uninspired character roster, sluggish movement speed, and lackluster map design left many people just unimpressed. It received mixed or average reviews, with many pointing out that it felt outdated upon its release. The game's $40 price tag worked against it as well, as many people didn't want to pay for a game that was already worse than free-to-play games that existed out there already, with abysmal low player numbers, never exceeding 7.
Same thing happened with Foam Stars. I really want to support Square Enix with Foam Stars, but one $40 and two, because one, it was $40 and when it should have been free to play, or it was also PS4 and 5 exclusive, which should have been multi-platform. So it's like,
put it to PC at the very least.
That's such a shame.
Another option.
Either PC played or make it free to play on the PlayStations. I can't do both. It's like
100 concurrent users on Steam.
Maybe they're expecting another Helldivers 2 moment, but I guess not.
The game's commercial failure was swift and severe, leading Sony to take drastic action. Just 2 weeks after
I really
launch,
need to get back to playing Helldivers 2.
All copies refunded
I stopped when the Sony debacle happened, and I never got back to it.
Internal issues,
that
including a culture of
down.
Toxic positivity that ignored critical feedback as a major factor in the game's demise. Reports also suggested that Sony had initially envisioned Concord as a massive franchise, comparable to Star Wars, which only made its failure more embarrassing.
It's brand
Concord's
new.
failure
Calm
led
your
directly
tits.
to the downfall of Firewalk Studios, which was shut down by Sony in October 2024. The studio, which had been founded in 2018 and acquired by Sony,
not even Star Wars was trying to be Star Wars when it came out.
Never had the chance to develop a second project. This closure once again highlights the
it was a new weird project.
Market,
That's all the expectations they had for it.
Something, if it isn't good, no one's gonna play it. And there you have it, 7 games that killed their studios.
Ironically, Concord had one of the best episodes on that was that's not called State of Play. Sorry about that. That's level something.
Secret Level.
Secret Level. Yeah, actually had one of the best episodes.
Nice. I have not watched a single episode of Secret Level.
It's
nothing.
It's definitely
I probably won't now, because they were the people behind the recent Coca-Cola AI generated advert.
I have no idea, but I totally believe you. As someone who's an AI enthusiast. But like,
and then they made a I'm just gonna say real quick, they made a fake behind the scenes video after the backlash, trying to make it look like it wasn't all AI generated and like they actually handmade the assets. But it was very clear that they were just like, like dragging like an Apple Pen that wasn't turned on over like an already pre-generated image and shit, and it was just very obviously fake.
So you act like we ain't got eyes. But that show, it literally is the definition of mixed bags. There's some episodes that like are really good, and some that are like not are just very disappointing, and some are like kind of in the middle there because it was like 16 episodes, so it really varied.
Yeah.
And like I said, Concord was definitely like in the top 3. Like I couldn't.
Nice.
And luckily it was like a prequel to the game, so you didn't have to like you were missing any like plot stuff. But so Concord, like, I don't put that because everyone dogged those freaking character designs,
Yeah.
And I don't blame the developers because, like, one, you mentioned there was toxic positivity in the studio, but also the fact they would submit character designs and they would be like, change it. And they wouldn't give them any feedback on what's wrong or what they want changed.
No.
Like literally, like is it just this one character? Do I need to change the colors? Do I need to add more spikes? They didn't give any feedback or just change it. So eventually, they basically just need to keep hitting like the character randomizer button, and eventually they got to a point where they're like, okay, we gotta ship it at this point. Just take whatever. So yeah, they didn't make so those character designs.
They just produced all the artistry out of it.
Yeah,
that's such a shame.
Yeah, so basically those designs people dog on, they didn't make those on purpose, So I don't blame the developers for that.
It was once again poor management.
Yes. You really can't go and expect to make it big. Exactly. Yeah, they definitely put.
Yep.
Can't be new IP, but too much like content before the horse. Because like
this is gonna be the biggest thing ever.
Like I liked the game Unknown 9 even from last year, but like the game was just coming out and they already planned like a fucking like an audiobook trilogy, a comic, all this lore and stuff. And Concord was trying to do the same.
Wait, no, bagging before the fourth, number 9, multimedia Empire BS.
Right.
It's a multimedia experience.
Yep.
It needs to have a single media before you can call it multimedia. God damn it!
Like, there's only a few of those that have actually worked.
Yeah.
I don't, and even then, I think most of the things that have released as like a big multimedia experience didn't actually work on launch. Like, I think it's more like the ones that were actually good got sort of picked up later. Like the main thing that I'm thinking of as like a successful one was Lane, Serial Experiments Lane.
Oh yeah.
Because that was conceived as a PS1 game first, and then they also made an anime, and I think manga as well, but I'm not sure. But there's at very least a PS1 game and an anime.
Yeah.
And the anime is really popular and well known, but the PS1 game is like barely known of. Lane is like a weird show about a girl becoming the internet. It's I haven't watched it and I need to.
Yeah.
Imagine becoming the internet.
Also, this is like late 90s, so it's very much like physical cables and stuff. It's like
if only they knew.
Japan has this very specific. They didn't really put like the phone lines under the ground at any point, so there's just like a massive mess of phone cables crisscrossing across the sky. In like most towns. So they used a lot of that kind of imagery and like twisted it into body horror and stuff.
Yeah, this was like, remember the Y2K days, like in year 2000, the internet's gonna get you, scared.
Yeah.
But it's also a good video too, and I'm just gonna check this guy's channel here. Let's see. Let's see here.
Freakazoid?
Sony's live service nightmares getting worse. 10 failed games that died immediate at launch. Did 12 big? Oh, interesting. 10 overall games that should have been great. Okay, that's something to look at. Okay, I'll give a subscribe. Let's see here. Anyways, I catch you on the next video, folks. Love yous.